Welcome back, everyone. J-Bone here for Smash This Podcast. Oh my goodness. Lots of stuff going on in the world of wrestling. But before we dive into everything and catch up on a few things, you know what to do, folks. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that sub button, ring that bell for notifications. The super chats and super stickers are open, as well as the Twitch bits and such. Whatever you do, it all helps the show grow. Hakeem Fullerton, yes. J-Bone is, well, I mean, I'm not going to go blow for blow on here. Did he say blow for blow? I'm not going to go, talk about every single little thing. Because, number one, it's late. Number two, it's, getting used to watching these again is not exactly easy. But I will say this. Triple H is doing stuff in this new era of WWE that is making me, as I'll call myself a casual WWE fan, okay? Casual at best. But he is doing things that is making me turn my head and take notice and go, oh, what's going on over here? There seems to be some news about what's happening in the WWE universe, if you will. Mark, you're bored in the hotel. Well, welcome. It's late. Hopefully I can entertain you guys for a bit. HD, what is up? How you doing? Yes, I did see the LWO shirts on, but it might be short-lived. Look at all that drama going on in the Mysterio family. We'll talk about that a little bit. That, honestly, that is, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Rey Mysterio. But there's other things that are happening tonight on Raw and things that happened on SmackDown that have captured my attention much more. I watched a majority of SmackDown last week. Some of it I just kind of fast forwarded through because I just wasn't that interested. But then all of a sudden, in the chat, in our own private chat for TNI, I don't remember who said it. I think, was it Alicia that said it? Someone said it. It said, wow, Kross is back on Raw. And I was like, what? I was like, no way. So, and I was in the middle of doing something, and then they shared the clip, the Twitter clip, if you will. And I was like, wow, look at this guy making some moves. Obviously, Triple H is, how do I put this? Some call it righting the wrongs of his father-in-law. And it's very interesting. It shows that Triple H, being the head of creative, does have a good amount of pull in this company. People are backing him and letting him do these things that are maybe not on the surface. Look, wrestling is subjective. Some are going to look at this and go, yeah, whatever. They're not going to, they're going to not even going to bat an eye at this. Some people are going to look at this and go, oh, maybe some of these things may not ruffle the feathers of the wrestling universe immediately. But depending on what he does with these pieces that he's starting to put in play again, for example, Kross returning on SmackDown. Now I'm seeing mixed I'm seeing mixed reactions to Karrion Kross. And yes, I get that because a lot of us that are in here know what happened at Impact Wrestling. And I get that. Trust me. I get that. I respect that. But part of me still loves him as a performer, and I can't wait to see what he does next. I'm excited to see what's up. So seeing Karrion Kross show up at the end of SmackDown, because I mean, let's be honest, they have absolutely painted themselves into a corner with the Roman Reigns situation. When he came back as a heel, it was absolute money. And I was talking about it back then when it happened. But then it got to a point where it was like, okay, how long are we going to do the same thing every single week? There's only so many ways you can twist it and turn it and flip it upside down and smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no, wait, that's something else. Now, granted, as much as I liked this, the main event of SummerSlam, that's the last time I want to see that. For at least another 5-10 years. So as and that was fun, but I want to see. Mark knows the girl's gonna do me. Roman, as good as he is right now, he can't stay champ forever, and he's beaten everyone. So what do you have to do? You have to bring in new faces to shake things up, and that's where Kross is going to come in. And there's people speculating, and the things that I'm hearing that are being speculated is that maybe Kross is going to take one of those titles off his shoulder and take it to another brand. You can only do what you're doing so long with Monday Night Raw and not have a head champion on it, I mean, I like what they're doing with the United States champion. They're making Bobby Lashley look big, and they talk about the legacy, and that's all great. We'll get into that in a bit. But you got to have a main champ on there. Heel or face, doesn't matter. You got to have a focal point that's going to help anchor people's viewings, And Kross is... Some people see him as that guy that can do that. Some people don't. Like I said, wrestling is subjective. And I want to hear your opinions in the chat. Good or bad, it don't matter. Let me bring it on. Let me have it. I'm excited for Karrion Kross's return. I think he belongs on a big stage like this. Okay. So we'll see what happens. Clash of the Clash at the Castle, the Castle Clash. I don't know. Whatever the next big pay-per-view is, I know I bombed that title. It's got me some slack. It's coming up in a month, and it's going to be the first pay-per-view in the UK in years. So I'm excited for that too. That's good that, you know, wrestling's getting some travel abroad again. Um, so that was the first thing I wanted to talk about because as much as I wanted to talk about it as the weekend was kicking off, I couldn't because I had my boy and we were spending some time together. Um, lots to celebrate on that end. I just found out that my son has his first girlfriend. So that's something that we were talking a lot about this weekend when I was spending some time with him. He's becoming a little chip off the old bone, if you will. Um, the the funny part, and I'll share this with you. Um, he showed up late Friday night. Now, me as a dad, knowing that this is the first time that he's driving over by himself, mind you, I've been driving to pick him up since he was 3-ish. We'll just throw a ish in there because, you know, give or take a little bit. So 13 years I've been driving to pick him up on that every other weekend. He's got his license now. And he drove over. Now, he showed up significantly later than he said he was going to. So I wasn't going to scream and holler at him. I was very excited to see him. And I wanted to hear some of this fallout from him and his play that he helped headline in the community. For those of you who don't know, he co-headlined the Legally Blonde musical and absolutely knocked it out of the park. So, and one of the things I've been kind of like, you know, needling him as a dad, lovingly, you know, not in a mean way, but, you know, needling him about is he had his first on stage kiss. And I was like, oh, you, you little. And so he gets to my house on Friday, and I said, don't get comfortable. We're going to go get snacks right away. I said, but I'll drive. You drove all the way over here. I'll drive. We'll quick go into town, go into next, you know, next little town over, grab some late night snacks, watch a movie or two. And he's like, yeah, sure. So we're at the Quick Trip. I grab a couple cheap bags of chips. He grabs himself a slice of za. Both got some fountain drinks. And then I grabbed some donuts for the missus because she deserved some sweets because she's sweet, you know. And I'm standing next to Eric in line, and I said, I can't give him a little elbow, and I said, hey, so either of these leading ladies fall in love with you? And I'm expecting a sheepish little chuckle out of him at most. Eric replies, why, yes, father, one of them did. And I was like, what? And he gets out his phone, shows me a picture of him and who is now dating him, one of the two leads from Legally Blonde. It was the one from the night that I didn't see because there was two Legally Blonde leads, and this is the other one from the one that I saw on the final night of the play. HD with the grandpa bone. Hey, watch your mouth. No, we don't want that right now. And showed me a picture, and I was just so happy for him. I was like, oh, my boy's first love. So exciting. So yeah, so that was one of the highlights of the weekend, is realizing that this is this is my boy's first love, and I know how I was back in high school and being a teenager and feeling those feelings. And so asked them questions about her, found out a little bit about her. Wonderful little girl, and very cute. So I was like, yeah. So uh, so yeah, definitely one of the highlights of the weekend. So I found out all this stuff about Karrion Kross like after the fact, after all this had happened, and what else? What else? Oh, watched the new. I know we'll get back to wrestling in a minute. Just hold your horses. I watched the new Hulu movie, Predator Prey. The new movie Prey. Great prequel to the entire series. Great effects, great action, bloody, but not too bloody. Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, considering this is, I mean, if you really want to think about it, this is a Disney movie, mind you. And to think that Disney could put out a gory movie like this is really kind of like trippy. So, so yeah, watch that movie too. Good stuff. And also introduced Eric to the original Predator. And then because of everything he had happened to him this past week, he fell asleep during the new Predator movie. But that's okay. I watched it. I loved it. He's a hardworking, strapping young lad, and he'll watch it at his own pace sometime. All right, back to wrestling. So like I said, with the move of Karrion Kross coming back and things that happened at SummerSlam, you knew that this was just the beginning, of Trips making moves to right a few of the wrongs from the last few years. And look out for those that maybe some people didn't believe in, but that he did. And it kind of goes back to what he was doing in the black and gold NXT. Now, whether you watched it or not, whether you liked it or not, there were some of those, and we're seeing this already with Dakota Kai, Karrion Kross, what happened with Ciampa last week, and even this week, even though he lost against Lashley. Great match for him. And then, we're going to get to old Dexter over here, Mr. Sam Shaw, if you will, which was shocking. And that was actually really interesting how that happened. Really interesting. Oh, and Io Sky. Yes, Courtney. Yes. Yeah. Well, she wasn't brought back. I'm sure they just redid a contract and set her up with a brand new contract because she was, in a sense, she was on her way out of the company, but they hadn't let her go. I don't know when her contract was supposed to be up or whatever. But yeah, it's honestly, fans honestly probably had written her off as well, not surprisingly. And it's not an insult to her. It's just they just knew that she was going to be pretty much done with the company. But Triple H is making these moves, and it's exciting. It's really exciting. I'm absolutely going to give him a chance with all this, and this isn't going to be I mean, some people are going to say, "Oh, well, it's an overnight success." No, it's not going to be an overnight success. Um, he's not bringing 10 people back in one night. And, oh my God, what a trip! No, it's going to take time, and will it even bring some people back that had written off Vince McMahon and his company? Maybe. It's going to be a wait and see thing. It really is for a long time. Um, so let's talk about a few things that happened tonight. We're not going to go, play by play or nothing like that. Seth Rollins is still one of the key people in this brand and is just knocking it out of the park. He beat Angelo Dawkins. Montez Ford couldn't even help in the cause. Well, hello, Oreo. What? Okay, you're going over there? She's going to go keep an eye on Seth Rollins, because I was talking about Seth Rollins, and there happens to be a Seth Rollins figure or 2 or 3 over there. What? You done with them already? What are you going to do, Oreo? She's confused. Kevin Owens and Ezekiel is a no contest. Ezekiel, this might be another one of those things. Now, this is just a guess. We know that Triple H is making a lot of moves. Number one, he's going to be bringing people back. We're seeing that already. Number two, he might be redoing some characters. He may look, now this is complete speculation. Don't go be like, oh, well, J-Bone says this. He knows what he's talking. No. I see what Triple H is doing. Complete speculation. Maybe Triple H looks at a guy like Ezekiel and he's like, why did we get rid of Elias? This is bullshit. We need to bring back Elias. Maybe this is a way that he writes Ezekiel off, brings back Elias. Couple months, let the hair grow out, let the beard grow out, bring back the scarf, bring back the guitar. Elias was over like Rover, as far as I'm concerned. I loved Elias. Then they do this stuff with Ezekiel, and I'm like, dear God, what? You completely stripped all the coolness off Elias. How dare you? It's not working. So it's just a complete guess on what they're doing. I hope, honestly, that's what they're doing, is that they write off Ezekiel, bring back his brother, Elias. For those of you on audio, using my quote fingers when I say brother. Brother. Racist fans rocks. What's up, man? At first I thought it was Gargano getting arrested. That's an interesting one. Yeah, some people think he may be on his way back in with the company too. Well, if you look at the success, if you want to call it a success, I do, of Ciampa being Mrs. Backup so far, which is very interesting. I'm okay with it. It took me a while to look at this and be like, I don't know about this. But they're not making Ciampa look like an idiot. They're letting him perform well and put on a great wrestling match with a guy, of another veteran like Bobby Lashley. So yeah, Kevin Owens kind of writing off Ezekiel. Finn Balor beats Rey Mysterio. There's all this drama going on with the Mysterio clan and with Edge. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's like, whatever. We'll see what they do with it. I'm kind of over the return of Edge. Don't get me wrong, I love Edge. I certainly don't wish any will on him, but there's only so much you can do with it, and I don't know. It's like it's not my top thing on this brand right now. They've got the women's tag team championship tournament first round going on. Io Sky and Dakota Kai defeating Dana Brooke and Tamina Snuka. I did not think for one moment that Dana Brooke and Tamina Snuka had a chance, but it's like, hey, you got to fill up the brackets, so it's like whatever. It is what it is. Yeah, Mark here says Bobby and Ciampa had a good match as well. They absolutely did. That is one of my. Actually, I'll say there were three big highlights. I mean, the wrestling overall on this show, I can't complain about. I really can't complain about it. I mean, there were some things that I wasn't necessarily into, but I can't complain about it. It was like fine. I actually enjoyed tonight's Raw. And for being a 3-hour show, now granted I was behind when I started watching it, so I was able to fast forward through a good chunk of it as far as entrances and commercials and stuff, which helped. I enjoyed it for a majority of it. And that's something I don't think I've been able to say about Raw in a long freaking time. Is it perfect? No, but it's like I said, you can see Tripp's making changes. He's definitely making changes. Let's talk about this WWE United States Championship match. Oh my goodness. You know, I got to support one of the best guys to come out of the Milwaukee area, Tommaso Ciampa himself. Man. And I like Bobby Lashley, but I was absolutely rooting for Ciampa. You know, that told me, I mean, it told me that there's, you know, but whether Ciampa wins or loses, I'll still call this a push. You know, it's giving him some decent on-screen time. He's not just looked at as the Miz's lackey, where he stands behind the Miz and does stupid shit, you know, or wears stupid shit or says stupid shit. And so I'm pleasantly surprised with what they're doing with Ciampa. Like I said, at the beginning of this, I didn't think it was working immediately when I saw that they put Ciampa with the Miz. I was like, I don't know about this. But the more I see it, the more I see how they're doing it. Like I said, they're not making Ciampa look like a chump. He had an amazing match with Bobby Lashley, and he came this close from winning that title. And they both got a big pop at the end, or the match got a big pop at the end. I'll say that. But damn, I was really hoping for Ciampa. But we'll see. We'll see. It's still a good sign for. Excuse me. Still a good sign for Ciampa, in my professional podcasting opinion. All right. Almost out there with MVP. Beaten two local rookies, we'll just say. You know, and that's what I expect out of Almost, you know. At least he's on TV until they figure out what they're doing next with him. But you got to treat a guy like Almost as a he is a spectacle You know, he is a special attraction. There's only so much you can do with a guy like Omos, because Omos is not, you know, he's not a wrestler like AJ Styles. So these are the things you got to do with him. So the fact that they put him out there and beat two guys and he just destroyed them, I'm fine with that. We've seen Andre do that with guys before. It's no different, and I'm fine with that. So we'll see. Dolph Ziggler. Very interesting, and I said this before. Oh, nose starting to itch. Damn allergies. Hey, my favorite nephew's in the chat. What's up, Paul? I've noticed that they have not had Bobby Roode with Ziggler for a while, and I've been trying to figure out what's up with him. Like, is he just not getting used? Is he maybe getting rebranded? What's happening? Is he, done with his contract soon? I have no idea. If anyone else in the chat actually knows what's happening with Bobby Roode, let me know. And I know someone in the chat saying, well, he's got to come back home as in Impact Wrestling. Trust me, there's no one else in this world that I would rather see that happen to as well. Courtney in the chat, obviously a fan of Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, I mean, I love him too. He's great. I'm jealous of his hair. I've always been jealous of his hair, man. He's always the rock star, the consummate rock star in the middle of the ring. Actually had a good match with Gable, and it actually started, like, the first half of it was all legit grabs. And, Ziggler's been around long enough. Sometimes you forget where he came from and what all of his talents are. So, it was interesting to see him really tear it up with a guy like Chad Gable with this. Oh, Chad Gable. At first I was like, oh, this poor guy, this freaking gimmick. But people are responding to it. It's, if people were sitting on their hands, that'd be one thing. But people respond to the shush. So it's one of those things where he goes shush, and people just boo him out of the building. So that's a plus. Like I said, if they were dead, if it was crickets, he'd be in trouble. But he's still getting responses. So, but these two put on a damn good match. It's absolutely one of the highlights of the night. And then main event. I gotta say, Dolph Ziggler won, which was nice. Good to see him get a win, and still get the mad love from the crowd that he does. AJ Styles in a no DQ cat. Wow, words, damn words. AJ Styles, we'll try this again, in a no DQ match with The Miz. See, I knew I could do it. This was a lot of fun too. I don't know where this really came around. AJ Styles trying to, sick of the behavior of Ciampa and The Miz. But I love this feud. And I don't know if this is going to accelerate from here, or if this is it. because this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I mean, these two just beat the hell out of each other. Now, the most interesting part about this, nothing against the match. The match was great. Loved it. You know, got some hardcore and some great wrestling to boot. But when AJ won, you could tell the camera was positioned just right so that just past the barrier, you could see a bunch of suited security guys all, you know, looking like they tackled someone or somebody was in a fight. It was, you know, and if you weren't paying attention to it and you didn't see it, it was easy to miss because you're watching AJ react to the crowd and, you know, do his, I won, I'm awesome, I'm phenomenal, and whatever. But if you don't know where you're supposed to be looking, I mean, it was, like I said, it was interesting how the camera just caught this stuff in the lower portion of the screen. That's exactly where it was, just outside of the, you know, the main focus of where, you know, he was. And then like you actually hear some commotion. You don't just see it, you hear it. AJ turns around, looks down at the corner just outside of the barrier, outside of the ring area, and a person pops up, a hooded figure pops up, and they quickly drag him like out of sight from the camera. And considering he's like this big on the camera and they didn't put an actual camera on him, unless there's going to be like some extra footage later, found footage, you know. It's Dexter Lumis, aka Samuel Shaw, who has been working in the NWA. I'll just say rather quietly because what the NWA is doing right now is really nothing to be jumping up and down about. If you have Tyrus in your main event for a pay-per-view, anniversary pay-per-view at that, there's problems. And if you don't know what that problem is, then damn it, I can't help you. So SmackDown, Karrion Kross returns with Scarlett Bordeaux and tells Roman tick-tock. Now Dexter Lumis returns in the last few seconds of the episode and quietly gets hauled off. And that's going to be very interesting to see where they go with that from here. Because commentary kind of like fumbled through, like looking off to their right, you know, at it. Like, oh, what's going on over there? Is that? And I think they said his name, but if they did, they mumbled it so quietly. It, you know, it's like it happened, but it didn't happen. They did it in such a way that if you were busy just watching AJ and you like had a conversation with so-and-so in the room next to you, never would have seen it, never would have noticed it. You would have found out in the news or next week if you're one of those social media types who looks up news on wrestling. Because it was so nonchalant, I'm like, I wonder if wrestling news is even going to pick up on this. But sure, they did, you know. But I didn't think it was going to be guaranteed. I was honestly, how they did it, I was rather surprised. But people are talking about it on social media. So Dexter Lumis is coming back, and it's going to have something to do with AJ Styles. Or maybe they'll put Dexter Lumis alongside The Miz as well. It's a little hard to tell how they're going to do this, but I can't wait to see how they are they going to just do it 1v1 where he's coming after a guy like AJ Styles, because AJ Styles is still a pretty top name to be coming after. He may not have a title right now, but he's still a top name. So that's a hell of a way to introduce Dexter Lumis. And let me know your opinion on this. I'm curious. Would you, if you're bringing back a guy like Sam Shaw, Dexter Lumis, and this is also interesting because the last people saw him he was in NXT. And I'm guessing a lot of people really didn't know who he was. But if you're an older fan like me, or have been paying attention to a lot of other kinds of wrestling, you know he came up from TNA/Impact Wrestling, and know that he's been in NXT for a while and then got let go. And honestly, what they were doing with him in NXT at the beginning of this whole 2.0, or was it just before the 2.0 thing? I was like, dear God, what is this? The love connection? It's like, what the hell are you doing? This is your developmental. Let these kids wrestle. But no, they're playing the love connection on NXT, and then he gets let go. So it's like, well, no wonder, you have absolutely no clue what you're doing. So this is quite the promotion for Dexter Lumis. You could say he debuted in the main event tonight, as brief as it was, debuted in the main event. Or came back, you can call it whatever. Karrion Kross, same thing. Re-debut, debut, whatever. Obviously, a big change for Karrion Kross. He's not coming back with the big, giant, studded X going across his chest with the, gladiator helmet on. Thank God. Jiminy Christmas. He looks like a badass, and that's proper. Samuel Shaw, Dexter Lumis, we'll see what they're going to do with him. Kind of hard to say. But overall, I'd say I pretty much enjoyed Raw tonight. I mean, I kind of flew through some of it, but and not all of it threw me out of my chair. But overall, I'm happy with it. And you can tell that the women are really getting a whole new level of focus. It's not, oh, here's a 30-second match, and out of 3 hours, that's your content on Raw. Oh, Bayley and her crew were all over this episode. Top heels. And you can tell there's a new focus on women in this company. And I'm not going to call it perfect. But you can tell that already there's something better going on. And now that the women's tag titles are on their way back in, a lot of people think this is going to be the return somehow, some way of Sasha Banks and Naomi. Now it's been reported that they're in talks to return, but and if they do, I'm sure they're going to do their best to keep it hush hush. Take some of this news with a grain of salt. Like, until you see them on your television screen, trust me, take it with a grain of salt, because people are going to just love to spread all sorts of BS around about this, because it is a hot topic. So, um, so yeah, lots of things happening in the WWE that are definitely making me turn my head to the point that, yeah, and this is literally in the 11th hour, as they say, I resubscribed my Peacock. I can't complain though. I'm getting it for $4 a month, so I can't complain about it at all. And that's at least for another year and a half, or whatever it is. So whatever it is, I can't complain. So if I even just watch like the Stone Cold specials, few of the best ofs, and the pay-per-views, I'm absolutely getting my money's worth, you know. So, um, eh, I'm just, am I going to review everything from them? Probably not. But when there's something on here that I feel that, deems me talking about it, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to talk about it. So, yeah, that's me catching up on a few of the things, news bits from what's going on in the WWE, and then some highlights from tonight's Raw. And, am I going to watch? Am I going to watch NXT? No, I really have. I mean, I'm hearing some positives about it, like as in the wrestling and character work is good. So will I check it out sometime? Yeah, maybe, but it's not first on my list. I'll start with trying to get through Raw and SmackDown and see how that goes. And yeah, so by all means, let me know if you watched Raw. And yeah, I know what the saying used to be is J-Bone watches Raw so we don't have to. But I'm telling you that if you used to watch WWE, even if it is a long time ago, there's a new dude in charge. So you might want to start paying attention again, because for the first time in a long time, I'm not going to say it's all must see, but it's going to become a lot more unpredictable than it was before. And that's a huge plus, because that's what really keeps the fan base of wrestling going. That's one of the things I think is if it all became so damn predictable, then it's like, that takes a lot of the fun out of it. But if you get surprises and just some good wrestling, some decent storytelling, and some surprises to boot, you're going to keep your fan base for the most part. Everyone's, like I said, it's subjective. Everyone's different as far as what they want out of a wrestling product. But it seems like Trips is going to bring a little bit of everything. Some characters, some good wrestling. I'm already seeing good wrestling. Tonight, over half the matches were decent, if not great. So, hey, Styles. Yeah. Just a great way to wrap this up. Says now's the time to be a fan again. Perfectly said. So that's going to wrap it up for me. And hope you all have a tremendous week. I'll be back tomorrow night for the family dinner for the Patreons. On the TNI side of things, come back here Wednesday. We'll talk some AEW, Mox versus Jericho. 2 years in the making. I ain't missing that one. Thursday, of course, you know what's going down. Absolute Chaos is back on Thursday. The full crew is back, more or less. There might be a few brain cells missing by the end of it, but it's 2 weeks in a row now. We're going to do the hat trick, I think. We'll see. And then, of course, going into Emergence this weekend, where I will be there in the front row. Boneski next to Justin, and then just down the way will be Front Row Bill and Bison from TNI UK, who's making his way across America right now. He just put some pictures up on social media of him and some fellow family. Not really family. It was just pictures of himself and some fellow bison. He found like a bison farm or something, which made us all crack up laughing. So, all right. So, bouncing all over the place this week. Can't wait to get to the end of the week. And it's going to be a fun time trying to get there. So, take care, everyone. Behave yourselves or don't behave yourselves. I don't have time to misbehave, so I'll live vicariously through all of you guys. Take care. Good night.